Good evening, viewer. Today is 17th of May, 2023. You're most welcome for the Nilecast this evening. My name is Dennis Oringi. It's a dark cloud here in Westnile, northern Uganda, as we mourn the death of the ex-minister for state, that is for public service, late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, who has gone to be with the Lord. My name is Dennis Oringi. Before we dive into the stories that we have prepared for you this evening, let's first have the headlines. In the headlines, former Minister of State for Public Service Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa is dead. Environmental activists want local government to enforce law against plastics. And Navy pharmacist survives lynching after caught with stolen government drugs. These and more in the Nilecast tonight. Let's have the stories in detail. The former State Minister for Public Service and a business philanthropist, Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, has passed on this morning. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Grace Freedom, who is one of the closest friends to the late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, confirms this to Westnile Television.
He has been sick for the last 4 years. He has been bedridden for the last 5 years. Since the last by-election, which brought hardship, that was 2 years plus another 2 years, maybe close to 4 or 5 years. And he stayed in the hospital for a very long time for support until the hospital recommended he should be taken home. So he has been taken home, and he has been home for the last maybe 3 years and taken care of from home. So he died this morning about 9:30, and then other arrangements will follow later.
The former State Minister for Public Service and a business philanthropist, Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, who passed on this morning, as it has been confirmed by the State Minister for Northern Uganda, was a businessman and a philanthropist. He has been described by the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Grace Freedom, as a politician who cared for the people and a person who was able to love education, and this was witnessed by him paying number of students in school, and also a father since he was a family man. Let's have more on this.
And he has been somebody who has been very enterprising. He has big businesses in Kampala and home. Raja Deluxe Hotel is at home there. He had Ringa Foundation. He had Afro Motors. These are the big businesses. I remember he had a bus, Nipir Bus Transport. Then he used to support university students. I think quite a number of boys and girls of Nebi then benefited from him. He was that politician, you know. He was in parliament, and then he also became a minister of public service. And the accident he got was after an attempt to become the MP for Nebi municipality when the municipality was created. So after the elections, he was traveling back to Kampala. They had an accident in the park where he banged his head, and from that moment he has been ill. So we have lost a pillar, an educationist and entrepreneur, development-minded, and a leader, a politician. And of course, as the family person, also a father, we shall greatly miss.
All right. Who is late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa that the whole country and the world is eulogizing at this particular time? You have to know that rising from a business background through the establishment of Afro Motors, Ringa built a business empire that made him start Aroma Tea Processing Company, opening up several business shops in Nebi municipality and Kampala, thus providing youth with employment opportunities. These enable him to build opportunity and popularity, thus his eventual rise to the parliament. During his time as the member of parliament for Padire County, Nebi District, Ringa sponsored over 100 students at all levels of education in Padire County. He also immensely supported the church through the construction of Nebi Cathedral, where he regularly prayed with his family members. Once he was in Nebi, he was a prominent businessman and majorly shareholder in Afro Motors, a company that imported Peugeot's car in the country. All right, away from that, you have to know that the environmental activists in Arua are challenging the city leadership to enforce the law on plastics. If the amount of plastic garbage is to reduce in the city. Frederick Dramadru reports.
Environmental activists want local governments to fully involve themselves in enforcing laws against the manufacturing and use of plastics to conserve the environment. According to the activists, Uganda continues to amend laws towards conserving the environment despite poor implementation of the already existing laws, something they attribute to failure by local governments to own them. Anta Maritsad Ferua, a former district chairman of the Greater Arua district who is currently doing consultancy works on local governance and environment, says Uganda has done a lot in deriving better laws, but the implementations are compromised by political interests.
Of our bylaws, of our policies, of our laws is compromised by politics. People think if they enforce the laws, they will not be given votes. That is the most unfortunate part of the story.
Whereas the senior environment officer, Eve Division in Arua City, Dawarumeri, revealed that most of the laws tend to pin small-scale manufacturers in the plastics, something that is deterring the enforcement officers to control the widespread of plastic waste to the environment.
The challenge of enforcing this law, especially with these big companies, the companies that come to Arua City, when you approach them and you wish to talk to them about what they ought to do as a company, you will just find you get small distributors who cannot give you an adequate answer to what you would wish to get from the company, the big company that is distributing this or that is producing these products in the plastics.
At the 10-acre compost site of Arua City near water, close to 300 tons of garbage from Arua City goes to this compost plant daily, with 75% share occupied by plastic waste. Florence Awacho is the site manager at the garbage site.
We have these two big Tata lorries which are like 7 tons each, so meaning that we have 14 tons of what? Of the tipper lorries. Then we have the skip loaders, which we receive like 5 or 6 times, and they are in 7 tons. So in averagely, I would say we receive over 300 tons of what? Of garbage daily in Arua City. We should separate waste from the source. 2, we should have a definite place where we are going to take this plastic waste. 3, the road accessing this plant should be worked on, because now you can see, like today, this garbage is full in front. Behind we don't have garbage. The downer part is open, simply because the roads are wet. The vehicles cannot access these roads well.
Arua City is at a procurement stage of installing a plastic waste recycling machine to supplement the works at the already established compost plant. Dawaru says once the $200,000 project from the mayor's migration is complete, this will reduce the wasteful plastics in the environment. Statistics from National Environment Management Authority as of March 2023 show that plastics take lion's share of the waste, with over 600 tons being produced every day throughout Uganda, yet only 40% of the waste is collected and disposed properly. The remaining 60% finds its way into the environment. Frederick Dramadri, Westnile TV.
Thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for that report on garbage. Away from that, let's get to actually sub-region, where following the ongoing ban on the issuance of documents facilitating the commercial trade and transportation of charcoal by Ministry of Environment in February this year, locals in Asholi sub-region have taken, however, the fight against environmental injustice being perpetrated by commercial charcoal businessmen in the region. Stephen Okello reports more on this story from Gulu.
Locals in Achule sub-region has vowed to take over the fights against environmental injustice, says, in the region.
At dawn, the vehicle which came and got some tire problem from here, it was loading charcoal. So the community of this area, they found that, okay, since the president gave those orders, and then the minister as well gave those orders, and then environmental also gave the orders that there's no charcoal burning in northern Uganda. That is why the community raised in and they came in to remove the charcoal.
Simon Wakoraj, the Achua County Member of Parliament, sounds a warning bell to those who are risking their money and vehicles for transporting and buying charcoals from the region, that their days are now numbered.
Those who has a very bad plan to destroy Acholi, the way they are planning, they should today on stop it with immediate effect. Otherwise, the mass that we have done to them today might not happen tomorrow. If anything happens tomorrow, it's upon them.
Thank you.
It's upon them. The vigilantes are here. You will never disturb their minds again. So I salute you. If you hear me, hear me. If you don't hear me, you'll find us here on the ground.
Thank you.
James Okumu says they have currently lost trust in the Environmental Police Department.
And there are those people who are saying that, okay, the charcoal are for the generals, the wives of the generals, and the big people in the police. That is why the patrol police came and picked this charcoal from here. They have been escorting so many times. Environmental police is not working. Environmental police is there just to get kitu kidogo, go. Kitu kidogo, go.
According to Francis Opio, the indiscriminate environmental destruction being perpetrated by commercial charcoal businessmen is now negatively impacting on the weather conditions of the region.
The importance of preserving trees, one of them, preserving, when we are a community, we are preserving trees, but we are getting more rain, and then we are get the source of tourist attraction, because we have a wild animal. The form of a wild animal. Also the what? This one is important of the forest.
Achua River Regional Police spokesperson David Ongomodong urges community to stop taking laws in their hands by looting the charcoals they are intercepting from the charcoal dealers.
Some of them are intercepting this truck and in notifying the environmental police who are enforcing this charcoal ban. They ended up involving themselves in criminal activities of looting and vandalizing the vehicle which was carrying the truck, plus stealing the battery and other spare parts from that same truck.
This came against the backdrop of an ongoing ban on the issuance of documents facilitating commercial productions, trade and transportation of charcoal issued by Ministry of Environment in February this year. Stephen Okello for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
Thank you very much, Stephen Okello, for that report from Gulu. Away from Gulu to Nebi, a medical pharmacist attached to Nebi Hospital yesterday survived lynching by angry patient attendants after he was allegedly caught with stolen drugs. He The enraged patient attendant surrounded the medical officer before he could move out of the hospital gate after a tip-off that he was carrying government drugs in his laptop bag. The Navy District Police Commander Aminsi Kanyondo said the suspect was arrested with 11 tins of amoxicillin capsules, an automated blood pressure machine, manual blood pressure machine, 59 pieces of cannulas, malaria testing kits, and 2 bottles of lidocaine worth of shillings 5 million. The Navy Resident District Commissioner Robert Abak said this is the second time the suspect has been arrested for allegedly stealing government drugs. Navy Chief Administrative Officer David Wasike, the pharmacist, had just returned to his workstation after serving his interdiction period. To end our Nilecast this evening, the Catholic Church has unveiled the program for the Episcopal consecration of Kasana-Luero Bishop-elect Monsignor Lawrence Mukasa. According to the Kasana-Luero Diocese Chancellor, Reverend Father Shirel Kasigwa, the consecration ceremony is slated for August 5th, 2023 at the Diocesan Cathedral grounds in Luero District. The diocese has been undertaking several internal preparations, including the renovations of the bishop's residence, among others. On April 29th, 2023, Pope Francis appointed Monsignor Lawrence Mukasa, the Vicar General of Kiyinda, Mityana Diocese, as the third Bishop of Kasana-Luero Diocese in a statement that was released by the Apostolic Nuncio to Uganda, Luigi Bianco. With that story, dear viewer, we have come to the end of our Nilecast today of 17th of May 2023. My name is Dennis Soringi. As Westnile Television, our condolences to the family members of the late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, who is the father to one of our staff here, the father to Christine Okumoringa. And for this time, we will be paying tribute to late Patrick Aloysius Okumoringa, who served as the Member of Parliament for Padire County and also the State Minister for Public Service. And so the country has lost a great man. And so we will be keeping you updated with the program for the burial, and we shall communicate always in time, as we always do it here on Westnile Television. And to my sister and my workmate, Christine Okumoringa, may you take heart, and may the good Lord, stand with you in this trying moment. And also condolences to all those who have lost their family members today. And we pray that the Lord will continue to bless you and also to give you the strength to stand amidst all the challenges of this world. And catch me again for another edition of the Nilecast tomorrow, Thursday, 18th of May 2023. And do not forget, tomorrow early in the morning, Kokoliriko comes back with me as I will be breaking it down for you, some of the stories that you need to know. And for those who have been able to miss out on the stories today, don't forget, tomorrow we shall also be able to have a repeat of some of the stories in the program, The Kokoliriko Show on Westnile Television. Have the best of your evening, and for those who are traveling, safe journey. May the good Lord bless you and continue to be with you. Good evening.